Okay, I'm finally ready. I realized I forgot the most important thing right when I was about to shoot this video. Let's call it a demo because we're making an old fashioned and I do not want to get this confused. This is a very serious business. This is a bar towel. That's it. I had to go get one. Okay, so listen, hello, welcome. Welcome, my name is Breton and I'm from Breton Buttered and I would like to show you today how to make, curate, and perhaps not just make a Wisconsin-style old-fashioned, but actually exist in the lifestyle that one partakes when one is drinking a Wisconsin-style old-fashioned. Now, first of all, let's go about the history of this cocktail. The cocktail perhaps was invented in a bar in Louisville, Kentucky, and it was called the Pandemis Club, I believe. Anyhow, this was a club, and there was a bartender there that apparently invented it, and it involves making a cocktail with a mixture of sour mix and Angostura bitters. That's if you have a real Sheboygan accent. I'm currently filming in a Wisconsin basement bar live. This is like a real basement bar that's been curated, and my friends own it, and the location is, of course, top secret. It's kind of like the secret supper club of the whole world. Anyway. So it's a cocktail that had brandy, Angostura bitters, some sour mix, and then you would top it up with some seltzer or sweet, and there's all different kinds of versions of it. It is different than the United States Old Fashioned, which is usually just a cocktail made with like whiskey or bourbon or perhaps brandy, and then they put a little bit of orange bitters, whatever. That's kind of it. Like, this actually is a cocktail. And now what we're gonna do is, first of all, let me give you the recipe. Some bitters. Now you can make your own mix, and I think, what is it? Oh yeah, there was it. Sometimes they make a brown sugar simple syrup and then add a ton of bitters to it, and then maybe a cinnamon stick, and then that gets put in the fridge and rested, of course. And anyway, so I don't like to have all that sugar, so I'm just gonna use some good old-fashioned bitters, which has all the flavors in it. Actually, I think there's some cinnamon stick in it, if I'm not mistaken. And we muddle, look at this, Wisconsin style, Wisconsin, these are Door County sour cherries. I forgot I soaked brandy in these. You should have some brandied cherries. It's traditional. And then I have this lovely ice cube maker. And remember, now, if you've ever I've had a lot of people, I've posted pictures of this, and then they'll say, oh, but I hated those when I was a kid and I had to work them here. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. This ice cube maker, which has a flipping lever, and inside you can see you'll see when I open it up. It's a contraption, if you will, of ice. But you have to wait. Once it's out of the freezer, you must wait. As you're gathering your cocktail mise en place, right, all your things together, then you can set this here, and 10 to 15 minutes later, you will just pop open ice, and of course it comes out very easily, and you, of course, grab your, I always say, have an ice bucket, a nice old ice bucket. You can get them at a thrift store for nothing, on the bar at all times. And of course, there is an ice scoop in it. It's just nice to come to a well-stocked bar. It really just makes everything better. Once, a long time ago, a friend of mine said, love is in the details, and the more little details that you can have when entertaining a guest or making a cocktail, even for yourself, the more love that's in it. Isn't that sweet? I thought it was. Okay, so remember, after you're done with that, make sure you refill the ice. I don't have to remind you guys. People that just leave empty ice cubes? No. Take an orange, take a couple of brandy cherries, and then we'll just do a bunch of bitters. We're getting in the recipe here. I keep beating around the bush. Let's make this damn cocktail. I need a cocktail. Okay, bitters. Now, I wanted to show you something very special. I was just in Chicago the other day, all the way up from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and I found this, which actually I've been drinking here at Al and Al's, which is a wonderful polka supper club that I go on Friday nights. But anyway, they have this Asbach brandy. I think they have a 6-year, maybe a 7-year or something, but this is the 3-year, which was available in a small flask. And it makes a delicious old-fashioned, trust me. This is brandy, of course. I'm doing brandy. So we're gonna do... In my bar down here in Wisconsin, at the Breton Buttered Bar, we do 2 ounces times 2, but that's like a double, but that's like a normal. That's a regular drink when you're here at Breton Buttered. Now, some people would be like, oh, well, no, that's a double. No, it's not. Just calm down. Just let me pour it. Okay. Now, we're going to muddle that. I think I got to get enough bitters in there. I can't remember. Yeah, but you know what? Double the bitters anyway, because we're gonna do this. Now remember, again, I'm not putting simple syrup in here. And what I'll do, since you're watching and I'm correctly telling you how to do it, is I will stir this and muddle it with the cinnamon stick. I'm improvising right here, of course, and that will perhaps, some of the oils will rub off into the liquor as I'm mashing the fruits, the berries. Yes, exactly. Okay, now, all right, we've muddled that. Now, I'm gonna add some lemon juice, which of course, there's a couple ways to juice lemons. I'm giving you all the details here, so please pay attention. I know, this is terrible, but instead, again, I was talking about the sour mix. What I'm gonna do is, I like this. This is one of those like little metal aluminum twister things. There's also this thing, right? I don't know, I feel like it doesn't get all the juice. And of course, when in doubt, just take a good old-fashioned citrus reamer and look at that. I mean, it really, like people, my friend Nora said, she goes, sometimes there is no replacement for a reamer, and she's absolutely right. I mean, okay, so now, I just washed my, oh, you know what, let's use the ice cube. One, perfect. And okay, the one thing I was gonna tell you about these ice cubes is, I'm gonna come really close. I'm going behind the bar, I'm going over the bar, here we are. Look at these ice cubes. See how they're misshapen? Right? And what I think is special about that is that when you pour them into the cocktail, oh, cheers, darling, is that it creates different textures, if you will. You know what I mean? It makes an interest. It's just, I think life is all about keeping things interesting because we're so damn, because I'm so bored. So just keep your details exciting and life is gonna be fine. All right, now, I have a very unusual garnish, and sometimes people think, oh, here, the most important ingredient. Okay, so we've added 2 ounces of brandy, about 4 to 6 dashes, and more if you'd like, of bitters, Angostura bitters, and you could throw some orange bitters in there if you'd like, or if you have other special bitters, I don't mind if you do that. It's just a little flavor preference, but the idea is that it's bitter. You're getting the components down. Okay, and then some citrus. I used half of a lemon, and oh, how dare I. Now this, actually, there is no replacement for a reamer. I'm gonna follow my, this lime was sitting, oh, but it works perfectly. Look at that, a reamer. There's nothing better than a reamer. I'm not gonna use that knife. Okay, so now I have a spoon right here, which sometimes I like to use the opposite side of the spoon if I haven't touched it, of course. And I stir that, and then I'm going to add my spark. Oh, I had a beer. I opened a beer because I thought I would put, this is Miller, not, well, High Life Light technically, but it's the champagne of beers, and these are actually old traditional champagne coupes, I believe. Let's try it. I'm gonna have a little sneak before I make my cocktail since I'm yapping up a storm. Okay, so now we're finally ready. And by the way, if you can use and find Canada Dry Seltzer or Club Soda, they have that in cans, not the bottles. They're too expensive, don't do that. And if you can find that in a can, it is the best seltzer, it is the most bubbly. But do make sure to keep your seltzer chilled because the bubbles are better when they are chilled, of course. I hope everybody knows that. I have a couple of unusual garnishes. Typically, it could be garnished with, I'll show you, something like an orange and a cherry. Something like, take your nice little pick here, and we're gonna do this little fancy thing. And let's put a couple cherries to the middle, right? Just like that. And then you take it and you pierce it to the other side, and then voila, we have our little cherry and orange garnish, right? Okay, so you could, oh, look at that, how perfect is that? As I spill over the bar seat. That's okay, that's why I have a bar towel. I told you, here, no problem. Remember, a bartender should always, when I first bartended years ago, the bartender, a very old guy that trained me right here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, he goes, now remember, when somebody comes in, always be polishing your bar, because people like to see, they like to see that you're doing something. I don't know if that applies anymore. I think, you know what I do. Cheers. Thank you. Well, beer. Absolutely. All right. Where was I? I digress. I simply was trying to show you how to make a cocktail and I got distracted. All right. I'm showing you the garnish. I like a blue cheese stuffed olives. Now, you can get some nice blue cheese around here. I happen to get some Gorgonzola available over at Stefano's Slow Food Market right here in Sheboygan. This is Gorgonzola Dolce, which is nice, just milder. I've taken the liberty and pre-stuffed, look at that. That is a nice olive. And then I'm going to place the, oh, I also am going to use an onion. You can use pickled mushrooms. Some people are like, that's weird in an old fashioned. Well, guess what? So is everything. Who cares? It's my garnish. Calm down. That's what I want. And it's delicious, by the way. And by the way, I have good taste, so why don't you give it a try? And then if you don't like it, we'll know what's going on. And now, I have the ultimate Wisconsin style. I'm going to show you this up close. I'm very proud of this. Oh dear, the music is turned off. I think that it was an actual real record. All right, here we are. All right, so there's my Wisconsin style old fashioned. Beautiful. Oh, and I love this glass. I know, let's give it a try. Oh, you know what? If you have the fresh citrus in here, you don't need all that sugar. It doesn't have to be that sweet because there's naturally sugar in orange and lemon. And, oh. Let's try my onion. I made pickled onions, my grandpa's recipe, which is basically pearl onions, and you can quickly dip them in boiling water for just like 10 seconds, and peels will come off really easily. Anyway, and he used to just layer onions in a jar with tons of salt, onions, salt, onions. So when you take it, you're like, oh, and he's like, isn't it good? I'm like, sort of. I did the same thing. It's really salty, but you know what? There's some sweetness to the onion. I'll let it go. Texture's quite lovely. And finally, the blue, well, I have to save it for the end. I'm sorry. But anyway, that's how you make a Wisconsin-style old-fashioned. And, you know, I wanted to tell a quick story about why we can, Sheboygan is the third heaviest drinking city in the United States. I don't know if I'm proud of that, but that's just what it is. Take it or leave it. And what that means is that Wisconsin's the heaviest drinking city. Anyway, we drink a shit ton of brandy, is what I'm talking about here. And apparently Wisconsin, they drink 70, if not more, % of the entire United States production worth of brandy, which, by the way, most of it's made in California, probably under Korbel or E&J or something like that. Anyhow, we drink a lot of brandy and we like it. And it's kind of, when you go to a supper club, and a supper club is basically a steakhouse, but it's like you go there on a Friday night and you go for fish fry, and it's just, I'm going to go back behind the bar. It is absolutely an incredible experience when the vibe is right. Everybody just gets to the bar, and you walk into a bar rather than a restaurant, right? So you have your drinks first, and then you go to the table. So everybody at supper clubs, you can look it up, but there's tons of video on YouTube about supper clubs. It's an experience, and you don't need your camera out. You don't need to, you just put your phone away. In fact, the one I go to doesn't even have any cell phone service at all. Nobody's TikToking, and you just have an actual experience. Sure, take a couple pictures of your steak that's this big. Oh. And brandy, Derek, honestly, this is good. The thing is, the blue cheese olives with sweet brandy, I don't know, I kind of like it. You get the sweet salty thing. I mean, everybody's doing it. Look at, there's popcorn out there that's sweet and salty. Give it a try. I highly recommend this cocktail. You don't have to use 4 ounces of brandy. You can use 2 ounces or less. Or you could perhaps make this non-alcoholic if you're on the wagon, which I was for 10 days in the beginning of the year, until I fell off a giant cliff. And here we are in a Wisconsin basement bar. But how could I resist being the third most drinking city in the United States? Sheboygan, Wisconsin. We were under Appleton and Dubuque, Iowa. Can you believe that? Pfft, I don't believe it. I know it. Most bars per capita and most churches as well. Cheers. Thank you very much. My name is Breton, and this is Breton Buttered, signing off. See you next time, where I will be making my favorite cocktail, which I'm going to get you very excited, which involves fresh grapefruit. And I did pick some Oro Gold grapefruit in California, but they are about 2 months old. I don't know if they survive. I did keep them chilled in a dark place, but we will be squeezing some fresh grapefruit, so please stay tuned. And remember, I hope you enjoyed this time in the Wisconsin Basement Bar. I'd love to play some music for you, and I will right now.